Okay, today we're going to take a look at another video of DxO PhotoLAB. I think it's version 9 so far. And obviously, we are not going to take a look at the global section of DxO PhotoLAB because I think it's been covered. The fun part of DxO is the local adjustment. Now, without any further ado, I have this photo selected. Nice, beautiful photo of a snail. And by default, in my setting, if you look at the top, they give you option what kind of immediate effect would you like the moment the photos are loaded. In that case, perhaps you can go to the preference and you can pre-select DxO style. I think I'm going to change it and I will go to something a bit more neutral than that. For example, number 4, and I click OK. So it will automatically select the natural or neutral. So I'm going to stick with neutral for now, and I will develop my photo nice and quick from there. Then we are going to go straight to customize. So of course, I'm not going to take a look at the beautiful and amazing options that you have available in order to create projects, tagging, and overall management. We are focusing on the tools, and not all the tools, but what matters immediately. So we have these global options here, and by default, smart lighting is already on. So if I turn it off and on, you see that you have this subtle difference. It helps with the dynamic range. Then you have this clear view plus. You can already see the little explanation on the side. If you don't, it says automatically enhance the vibrancy of the photos. And I'm going to turn it on. You can see that again, subtle difference, nothing intense. I'm going to turn it on. For the exposure to the contrast slider in terms of global change, only thing I'm leaving on as well is vignetting. Then the color part, again, it's a global one. So you can either keep the DxO wide gamut or the classic legacy. Sincerely, I prefer the legacy one only because it again allows you to, reduce the intensity of the color. And again, as I said, develop from there. I get to select where I want more intensity or not in terms of color range. But that's just my choice because this is not the objective of the color space. It's more to do with the printing, the medium that you are using it as well. So the color science is much more vast and complex. I highly recommend you to get into it if you wish to, because it's worth it. Now, I still have the natural color. However, we have this generic rendering, and my file is a Canon. So you can again select the camera body. And it's 70D, so we can stick with this part. Pretty straightforward. However, this one has integrated the DxO FilmPack, and the advantage of it that I get to have all the benefits of FilmPack as well. Whether I choose to use it or not, that's a different story, but I do have them available right there. So you know what, for the sake of this video, I'm going to select cross-processed film. And that's fun because you see that immediately it went from, I'm just going to show before and after. That's the original image. And that's what happened after. So I could just stop there and call it a day because sincerely, I don't see, apart from slight work here and there, overall, it is already fantastic. It really is. And I appreciate the old camera because considering the time, the Canon 70D, it's a pretty old camera, and the lens, I think it was Sigma 80, 18 to 35 one of those art lens. The reason why I mentioned this, because if you look here, it even captured this little net of the spider. Now that's, my friend, we call the detail, because not only captured it, but you don't need to pay really good attention to see it. It's actually visible almost quite immediately. Right. So this is pretty much in my area, but then again, you have this protect saturated color or don't protect. You can go all the way to 200 if you want. How much intensity you prefer. You can select the intensity of the protection as well in this slider. Now, we are going to go to the detail. I don't think I need D prime, honestly, because it's a daylight, low ISO, almost perfectly exposed image. So I don't think this is necessary. Then you have the automatic crop. Distortion is automatically fixed, which is very nice, but the Sigma lenses are pretty good, frankly, so we don't need to essentially do anything. Perspective is, I think I made plenty of videos on perspective. Highly recommend you to try it out. Now it's perfectly aligned. I could crop, I think, let's say 2:1, not 2:1, 1:2, more like. Or 1:1. But 1:1 taking away a lot of details. I like this flower on the side, so probably not. But what if I do freehand and then go up a little bit on the side and then close. There you go. Much better. So I have everything that I wished. I have this little spider net on the side and the flower. Now, local adjustment, obviously, because we are here for this one, aren't we? Now, the local adjustment, you have this little pop-up. It says, with the AI masking, instant and ultra precise selection. So you can use AI for the perfect selection. It does the local lens sharpness. It does local noise reduction as well. So a lot of local adjustment you can do finally with this one. What I wish to do, that because this flower is slightly more bright than the snail, I am going to select a control point, and I don't need this little, and put it there. Then I'll make sure that it's only on the white area. So far it looks pretty good. There is another way to make sure that the color, the mask is perfectly done, is black and white. Now you can see that it's very precise, but you can fine tune it, especially with the Luma, I presume. Perfect. I'll come back to black and white. And instead of exposure, I rather reduce the mid-tone and maybe highlight, but a notch. And you can see that it's working perfectly. Right. There you go. I'll say, what about before and after? I'll do see before and after. Now, the second mask I wish to do is to make this snail a bit overall exposed instead of a little too bright area at the edge. So I'll click on the plus, and then there are many more tools here though, by the way, but I'm not using all of it because you have this auto brush tool, you have the normal brush tool, you have this control line, and the AI mask. I'm just fixed on the basic one that I'm used to do, because I had this thing about tools is that it's just like your car, meaning something that if you're used to it, and if sometimes actually the tool that you know very well gives you better result faster than a new tool which may be fast in terms of features, but thing is you need to learn them, and it's more personal. It's your it's something that very personal to each person. Suppose if I give you another example for the car, my wife has better car than I do. But my car, I'm very comfortable driving it than I do with my wife's, because I just know what's happening in it. I don't need to think about the car itself. I can focus on driving and paying attention to my environment. And the result is obviously good driving and safe. And none of them are extra work for you. But when I'm getting into my wife's car, I need to pay attention to the car itself, the size of the car, as well as the surrounding environment. And none of them are helpful because it adds extra work. So that's my point. I mean, there must be other tools in this software which definitely do get the job done faster, but I've been using it for years and I'm not going to change my workflow just radically speaking, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think enough about that. I'm going to get back to the editing. Right, so again, I'll go back to black and white. You can see that slightly went to our other direction. So I'm gonna have to work on chroma, I think in this case. Have to work on the precision. And Luma, probably it still have to look natural. I'm going to drag it. So you're going to push the shadow, reduce the highlight just a tad because still has to look natural. But there, I'm going to push the clear view plus. I'll be very generous about it. And then contrast, probably slightly bit more micro contrast, because you want to have the details of the edges of the snail there. What else? So see, the color is homogeneous and dominated by yellow and green. So there, I will slightly try to get to the opposite spectrum without making it look strange. So I'll first reduce the vibrancy of the snail. And let's see if it does something. So it's doing the global change. So I'm going to go to individual one. And let's try with the tint. And make it a bit more nice and smooth, bit more sharpness. Now in the effect section, I think I'm going to get rid of this button is bothering me a little bit. So before, after. So we're going to go to the effect, creative vignetting, and instead of dark vignetting, I'll do bright vignetting here. I find it rather interesting, because the dark vignette is quite common, nothing wrong about it, but I find it quite interesting to do opposite, because it still does the job to bring the focus on your subject, the image that we have originally created. So I don't know if I can do before and after. Perhaps I think I can. So that's before, and this is after. You see that even in the full screen, you can see a quite significant amount of noise. However, after the edit, it looks, personally, I love this thing. I love the result of it. So that's DxO PhotoLAB 9 photo editing in a nutshell, along with, of course, FilmPack. But you don't need the FilmPack essentially. You can actually edit quite well without it. But I highly recommend you to get it because it has some tools that can save you time if you, of course, use the exact same thing repetitively. So yeah, that's my, after a long time, a nice good editing with DxO PhotoLAB 9. I'm very happy about it. I hope that you are too. Take care of yourself and bye-bye.